Welcome home. What does it feel like to get the call to come back here? I mean, you've been on so many teams.
Yeah.
Now back with the Falcons, though.
Yeah, team number 6, back in Georgia. Lived here 17 years of my life, so I'm very grateful to be back in Georgia and put on for the home team.
Tell me just what's this week been like? When kind of walk me through what happened.
Yeah, so the organization reached out last week saying that they usually do one workout at the beginning of the year just to give them like an emergency list. And so they had me on their radar and was ready to go for the workout and came in and did really well. So they decided to keep me here, and now I'm working as hard as I can to get on the field.
What's the week been like? I mean, are you kicking every day, or what's the week been like?
So the workout was on Tuesday. We had practice yesterday, Wednesday. Kicked yesterday with the team. That was my first day kicking with Liam and BP. So got a great operation there with 2 vets that have been with each other for a while. So anytime you get in a room with a couple vets, it makes it a lot easier to get comfortable with the routine, and I feel really good about everything. I'm in a great groove, and just ready to go.
Did they give you any type of idea if there'd be a rotation or what the plan might be?
No, just kind of going out there doing my job. As long as I do my job, then that's what I can control.
Have they said this is a competition, or have they just said it's kind of like a party situation?
Yeah, I mean, they said it's a competition. Anytime you're on a practice squad, you're kind of fighting for that role. And even if you're like active roster, you're still, I mean, just because you made the 53-man roster, like that doesn't mean you're getting to play. That goes for anybody around the league. Like every day's an interview when you're in the building. Doesn't matter if practice, game.
Still have family here?
Yeah. I've got the house we lived in Peachtree City still.
Yeah.
Tons of friends and family all over the place.
Are you like staying there right now? Like with
No.
or?
Peachtree City is hour 40 south.
far, yeah.
So that'd be one heck of a commute.
Look, I live in the city, so I understand.
Yeah.
It's
No. I'll definitely live close by.
Yeah. Have you seen them though since you've been back? Like your parents and family.
Yeah, I was with my brother and dad last night, Ponce City Market.
Nice.
So, classic spot. So yeah, my family's gonna come this weekend. Got my wife and 2 girls.
How do you approach this opportunity? I mean, you've been in the league for a while and been through this. How do you approach this?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every day's an interview, so I just got to come in and do my job and see where things go.
How big, when you look at what's happened here and just the position you're in, how important is each one of these kicks each week?
Yeah, I mean, every week, every point matters in every game. Like, you see so many games come down to one-score games, and every point is crucial, and it's been engraved in my mind. Every time you go out on the field, you got to score points.
Did you play soccer at McIntosh?
I did.
I figured you probably did.
We were very good.
Well, I know.
When you say that every day is an interview, when you're not rostered and all you guys are competing for spots, especially for kickers, how hard is it to just kind of stay level-headed and stay in the moment and not think too much about just the uncertainty?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, this is year 4 for me, team number 6, and so I've just kind of gotten used to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So that kind of thing kind of helps me, and yeah.
Does that help you just as a kicker being uncomfortable, or being comfortable being uncomfortable?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of gives you that confidence to be able to go out there on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays whenever they need you and do your job.
What was the meal at Ponce City Market last night?
I had the short rib.
Short rib. Where? Which spot?
It was Atrium.
Okay.
What would it be like to come home and your kick for your hometown team you probably grew up watching?
Yeah, it'd be, dream come true. I mean, any team you play on is a dream come true for sure. It's a blessing and an honor to be able to play in the NFL. So, yeah.
I know it's a veteran room, and I don't want to use the word awkward or anything, but how do you guys lean on each other and help each other out, and what's like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important when you're just around the facility just to be friends with each other, and then when we go out on the field, like, we got to do our job. So kind of work hard, play hard mentality.
How long does it take you to get comfortable with the holder, the long snapper, like just having that unit in sync when you're ready to kick?
It just takes a couple reps,
Okay.
especially when you've got those vets, like I was saying, BP and Liam. So.
The coach was talked about 3 to 5 drops, 2 to 3 missed sacks. What are some of the things y'all want to do to try to, tighten that thing up over there on defense?
Yeah, it's always good when you're in the position to make those type of plays. Once you look back at it and you don't win, obviously those missed ops are even more, of a critical moment that you think that could have changed the game. But yeah, there's just things that you got to do. You got to go get on the jugs. You got to put yourself in those positions to make sure that stuff doesn't happen again. So when we're out there, today, full pads, whether it's whoever it is dropping their weight to get the sack or any opportunity that we can get on the ball, we got to make sure we execute on that.
Last year's game it's you can't really look at it because Darnold's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary had a little tough time in the fourth quarter mostly. What can y'all? I guess they run the same schemes, but you got Addison's not there and Darnold's not there. But does that game even play over into this?
Yeah, I mean the scheme obviously is the same. This offense is very explosive in that regard. Of last year's game, they had a couple of shots, about 4 or 5 explosive passes that obviously we take in on the secondary. But just being keyed on when those shots are coming. Obviously, this offensive coordinator, this head coach, Rod and those guys are very familiar with those guys, and like I said, this offense is pretty damn good, and we got to stop them for sure.
How do you prepare for J.J. McCarthy in this game? You have one game of film, but do you go back to college, or how do you prepare?
Yeah, I think you kind of go back, to some of his college film to kind of see the quarterback mannerisms. How is he dropping back, and all that good stuff. But yeah, you just look at the scheme. The scheme hasn't changed. Obviously, Addison isn't playing, but they got Naylor out there for his position now. But very similar offense. All you can really do is go back to his Michigan tape, like I said, is kind of see what his dropbacks looks like and all that good stuff. But the offense is the offense, so you just kind of prepare for that. And, we know that he's a runner as well, so we got to be keyed in on our rush plan as well. So, yeah.
How would you assess the play of Xavier Watts, his first NFL game?
Yeah, I thought he played really well. He made some big plays. But we just talked about the missed ops and, those, I think that he'll understand that you don't get those every week. And as a defense, we got to make sure we capitalize on those. So very excited for X. Not surprised at all. I was telling you guys that he showed that throughout training camp, throughout the spring. And now it's just you got to continue to do that every single week.
What about Billy Bowman?
Yeah, same thing with Bill. I thought he played really well, in the box. He had a sack. I think I don't know if they gave him a half a sack or whatever it was. But the fact that he's in the right position and he's, flying around and he's out there covering as well was really good to see. You talk about breeding confidence in each other. I can depend on Billy to be in the right spots and making the right calls when we're in our man-to-mans. And this week will be a big challenge for him. He'll be, a little bit more in the box. And, with all these keepers and stuff that they like to do, we just got to make sure he's honing in on that as well.
You've played with rookies before. Would you say these guys are maybe more mature, maybe more game ready than maybe some of the other players you played with? Yeah,
I would say for sure. Like I said, those guys, their football IQ is pretty damn high. And, when you're facing, these new offenses, you kind of depend on your IQ and how you can problem solve through certain plays. And those guys are very high IQ players.
How would you evaluate your performance in week 1 and also just the team as a whole?
Yeah, I thought I could have been better. I think that last drive, two critical MEs for me, and then one leading to a touchdown. That's how this league is. You can play 55 good snaps, and then the other 2 can be terrible, and that can cost you the game. So, I thought I could be better. And then as a team, I thought we showed a lot of good things. And the biggest thing you got to talk about is the 2-minute and being able to finish and that at the end of that game, and then Mike even puts us in a position to go down there and, tie that game up. So there's a lot of good things off the tape that I think in this building, I think we know that we're going to be a really good team. But we just got to be able to finish, and that stuff happens when you can finish on Thursday practices and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
No turnovers in week 1. How do y'all flip that script this week against Minnesota?
Yeah, we just got to catch them. I think we have 4 or 5 that we could have had last week, and this week is no different. You got to be able to, catch the ball when they throw it to us, make them pay, because those things change the game.
You said knowing JJ's a runner as well. What are you going to do differently this week than allowing Baker to escape, a few times that he did last week?
Yeah, a similar game plan. I thought we didn't keep Baker, in the pocket like we wanted to. That stuff's going to happen here and there, but in those critical moments, I think Baker had about 4 of those third downs, extended those drives with his feet, and that's something that we're talking about for sure. And you guys seen it on Monday night. JJ, he can move. He's probably a little bit faster than Baker, honestly. So we just got to be honed in on our rush plans, and we know how important that is up front.
How do you prepare for somebody like Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, you always got to know where he's at. I think as a safety, anytime you're in any type of single high, as a quarterback, I would throw it to number 18 too. So just knowing, when it's time to be aggressive, knowing when you need to show a little bit more love to 18. Obviously, they're going to scheme him up to, go out there and have success. And the biggest thing is you just got to know where he is. Like I said, there's no I can say this as a safety, you always got to keep your eye out where he's at. But AJ, he's gonna face that matchup, and he's just thinking it's another game. So I'm excited for AJ, his supreme matchup with 18.
Can I ask you about your hat real quick? Is that a Falcons hat or?
Yeah, this our special teams hat, special ops, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
What does EAT stand for on the side?
It's eat. It's all right. Yeah. It's what Keys, kind of like what our mantra is as a group, special ops, and they're taking that as we got to be able to step into situations in special teams, and even at the end of the game last week, we had a kickoff return that was about 40 yards, and then Kuz making the tackle. We got to be able to hone in on that and finish better, even on our special teams unit.
There's periods after the EAT, so I asked maybe it stands.
Yeah, it does for sure.
You gonna hit us with what it stands for?
Yeah, we'll talk to Keith about that.
All right, I'll ask him.
Anything else?
Just you're a vet. Is it different preparing for a primetime game, or do you still get amped up? Juices flow a little bit more, knowing that it's a primetime game.
Yeah, it's obviously anytime you get the opportunity to play on a primetime where the whole world's gonna be watching us, you get a little bit more excited. But at the end of the day, it's still the same amount of time that you gotta play football, and you gotta execute at the same level. It don't matter if it's 1 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it is. But you definitely get a little bit more excited to go and show your team and what we can be to the whole world for sure.
Yeah, Coach. Just was looking at the coach had already talked about the 3 to 5 drop interceptions, 2 to 3 missed sacks, and then I guess the late penalty. He thought Baker did some action there. But how do you clean all that up and bring it together for this performance before you go play the Vikings?
Yeah, watching last week's game, after the week of prep that we had, it was validation, I think, in our process and what we're trying to get accomplished. Just like you said, a lot of missed opportunities, turnovers, sacks, and there was other stuff out there that we need to clean up. And that's going to come. Not that we'll ever accept that, but, first year in a system, there's going to be a little bit of bump in the roads, and there's going to be growth opportunities, which we had last week. And so we'll just keep working. But I felt like great belief from this group in what we're doing, how we're doing it.
How the rookie defensive backs play?
X, minus the drops, had he had those drops, shoot, you're talking about the rookie of the week, and definitely put himself in contention for a rookie of the year. He played that type of game. You saw the exceptional ball skills, instinct, feel that he has. Now we just got to refine it and just keep working with him. And the beauty of X is he doesn't, and I'm getting to know him as we go here, but he just feels like a guy that will never be satisfied. It's just going to keep pushing to get better. Guys have a little success early on. Sometimes that's dangerous, and they kick their feet up and they believe I got it. And I don't feel that from him at all. And then Billy, I thought he had an exceptional game as well, for a rookie. Bumps in the road for sure, little things here and there from a technique standpoint that we can clean up, and there's always going to be room for growth. But for a first time out, I was impressed.
And the rookies up front, you had pressure.
Yeah.
Didn't get the sacks.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you look back upon it, for one reason or another, there's been just missed time with those two. Where Billy and X they've been out there every single day working, and they never had an off day. So we're just kind of spoon feeding the young rushers and getting them part of our rush groups and the waves of rushes that we have, and they're just going to keep growing. They're going to keep getting better, and both of those guys are guys that are going to be a huge part of our success going forward.
It's obviously still so early, but at what point do you look at those missed opportunities? Like, is there a timeline in your head where, like, okay, now this is getting concerning? Like, how long do you give yourself grace of the new system, of it still a team learning it?
Right. It depends on what the missed opportunities are. Missed opportunities from lack of technique or busted assignment, that's something that we'll never tolerate. Doesn't matter what year we are in the system. Just catching the ball, that's a different missed opportunity, or just judging your jump a little bit wrong or whatever the case may be. Those are things that, those are fixable. Those are things that we can absolutely drill and work and get better at. So I don't know how to phrase this. We'll never tolerate lack of execution, lack of detail, lack of, everything that we try to do at the highest level. So that will never be accepted, regardless of what year we are in the system. The missed opportunities is just, those things happen sometimes. They do. And it's unfortunate. And, I'm confident these guys are going to make them next time they get the opportunity to do that.
I remember when we saw you on the last day of the draft, and you were over the moon about getting Watts and Bowman where you guys got them. Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Valued.
Absolutely.
Have they kind of solidified that feeling from April, since they've been here the last few months?
Yeah, they have. They don't feel like rookies. A lot of times you put two young guys in there, especially in the back end, where there's so much intricacy, there's so much detail, there's so much nuance, there's so much to understand and learn, and you're dealing with a lot of speed, and it's just it can be nerve-wracking. I've never felt these guys flinch. I've never felt them blink. That's not to say they've been perfect by any means, but the demeanor, the approach is exceptional for a rookie. Now, they got a long way to go, and they know that, and we know that, and the beauty of it is they're both willing to work. They have, unbelievable humility. They already understand that, a process is what's going to create the sustained success that they're trying to achieve. So I'm excited about what they will become, both of them.
Kevin O'Connell's been such an effective play caller, especially since he's gotten to the Vikings.
Yep.
When you watch the tape, what about his play calling makes him so effective?
Yeah, he is very unique. He is a guy that, I don't know if you can see it on my eyes, but he keeps you up. He does. He's exceptionally creative. He's that guy that really goes into the lab. Does he have his system? There's no doubt. He's got his system. He's got his stuff that he runs from week to week. But then he's going to have wrinkles that are going to challenge your rules. He's going to put your guys in the highest level of conflict. He's a guy that's searching for the free runner, searching for the bust, searching for the ability just to put something on tape and beat you in a way you've never been beaten. So we got to be on our P's and Q's. We got to be on our details. And if you're not, he's a play caller, and with the players that he has, he'll exploit you.
I mean, when you're going up against a receiver at the level of Justin Jefferson, one of these premier top 5 receivers in the NFL, do you approach it differently? Do you kind of scheme up coverages specifically for those guys, or how do you kind of approach that?
Yeah, you absolutely have to. You have to have something. You have to have a bullet, that you're ready to deploy, especially if he's getting really hot. At the same time, we've talked about it since, Tuesday afternoon of, where's Waldo? You better know, regardless if the coverage is meant to be something to stifle him or if it's for him, regardless of what we're in, you better know where he's at all times, because he's a guy that not only exceptional talent, but a play caller that's devising ways to get him open, devising ways to feature him. And if you don't approach it that way, you can look down at the stat line at the end of the game, and it can be pretty embarrassing. So we got to know where he's at at all times.
How do you balance getting pressure on a quarterback with the athleticism of J.J. McCarthy while also making sure that he doesn't beat you with that athleticism?
Yeah, it's hard because you want your defensive line to stay aggressive. You want to affect him. You want to get him off the spot. Those are critical elements to affecting any quarterback. Every quarterback in this league's QBR goes down when you do that. It's just the way it is. But it's like you said, creating enough balance where you're rushing him with vision, and you're with coordination, and you're making sure you level the quarterback. You're making sure there's always a split or balancing up the rush. You're making sure you're filling up the rush lanes just like you would in a run play where there's actual gaps. So it's a little bit of both. There's going to be times where we're going to ask our front four to do it, and to keep them in the pocket and make them comfortable in there. But then there's going to be times where we're going to put a guy on him, and say, all right, this player on the second level is dedicated to him. And when that happens, that allows those guys to really have some freedom to go rush and do their thing. And then there's times you're going to have to go get them, and bring 5, bring 6, and fill up all the rush lanes, So I think it's a balance of all three of those things.
How does it compare to what you saw on Sunday with Baker?
They're similar in the fact that they can extend plays. Similar in the fact that, Baker, I felt like we had a really good third down plan, and unfortunately the numbers wouldn't support that because of Baker's legs. The times that they beat us on third down, it was mainly that. So we just got to make sure that it's a little bit on me from a scheme standpoint to make sure that we're schematically in a place that we can handle them, and at the same time, our rushers have to be disciplined in the way they rush them.
There's this really interesting full circle moment that's kind of happening in the context of Sunday's game for you and Raw specifically. The last time you both were in the positions that y'all are in right now was Minnesota 2020. In that game, y'all go out, y'all win after a pretty tough set of circumstances in the month prior to that, everything that happened with DQ. I'm curious kind of what you remember about that time and that game in the lead up to that.
Yeah, it was, I just remember being so, happy and ecstatic for Raw, and just, being able to bring him a victory in his first outing as the interim here was it was a pretty special moment. There's a lot of things I remember about that game because it was in the midst of COVID and it was just weird. And I remember funny story, I remember our D-line, I think they all got COVID maybe, minus maybe 1 or 2. And then I think their coaches got COVID. And I remember we had a COVID plane for our D-line, so they flew separately. And it was interesting because I think they were 2 or 3 in the league in rushing at the time. Dalvin was rolling, and we went out there and we played the run really well that day. And I could never get these guys to buy into practice after that. They're like, we stayed home and ate popcorn and watched TV, and we just stifled into the number 2 rushing attack in the NFL to 33 yards or whatever it was that day. But I do remember it was a special moment for Raw, and it was a special moment for the Falcons, and I feel blessed that I was a part of it.
As a coach, what do you learn about yourselves in moments like that where your back is up against the wall and it's kind of like, hey guys, like, what do you kind of like learn as a teacher too? Yeah,
I think you learn who you're dealing with. You learn about players, you learn about coaches, you learn about everybody. They say, or people say that adversity changes you, or success changes you, or whatever, and I totally disagree with that. I think adversity, it reveals you, and it shows everybody exactly who you are. So there's power in those moments, and you learn exactly. I think Rod knew who I was, and I knew who Rod was, but if there was any doubt, that gets absolutely, eliminated at that moment. So although nobody wants to go through adversity like that, there's tremendous power in it.
What did you learn from J.J. McCarthy, just the way that he started the game versus the way he ended the game on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, it's a promising Yeah, it's promising for the Vikings organization. You know, quarterbacks have to be resilient. Players in this league have to be resilient, but it's especially quarterbacks because obviously they face the most criticism. They're in the biggest spotlight. They have the most on them, period. And the fact that on a Monday night, the first real legitimate start for him in his career against a very good, talented Chicago defense, with a coach that I have tremendous, respect for as a defensive coordinator, to go out and come back and bring that team back in the second half says so much about the kids. So we got our hands full this Sunday.
It seems like such a simple question, but how pleased were you with the defensive effort in week 1?
I thought the style of play was right. I thought the strain, the effort, the finish, that's exactly what we're looking for. Can that always get better? No, there's no doubt. But it felt different to me from that standpoint. I felt like the physicality and the intent to be physical was there all night long, all day long. And the mind piece, the execution piece, that's where we need to clean it up. There was moments where our execution was right, and there's moments we were on point, and we were 11-1, and it looked the way it's supposed to look. And when the heart, mind, and fist all align, like, it's pretty special. And you saw glimpses of it at times, and there was moments in the game that it was real. But there's times where we got off, the mark a bit from an execution standpoint. Whether it would be communication, alignment, assignment, technical, whatever it was, it wasn't quite right at times. So we've got a great opportunity to go out this week and really demonstrate what it's supposed to look like in all 3 phases.
Yeah, Coach, how did you start with Dorless and Oyemata, and then I saw Zach might do a little bit, but how did you grade the tackles up front to kind of, if they don't do anything, none of that other stuff?
Yeah, I thought Daniel Oyemata did a nice job in there. I thought Dorless did a nice job. I thought Zach did a nice job. Those 3 guys, I was extremely pleased with. They didn't get a ton of opportunity from a pass rush standpoint, but I thought they played the run exceptionally well. And another one was Rook. I thought Rook made great strides. He's a guy that, since he's come out of Clemson, we've all seen the pass rush. We've seen the athleticism, the speed, the ability to rush and beat a guard. Like that has been from day one, and we've just continually worked with him. And really, it's a testament to the man that he is, how hard he's worked at becoming a more complete run defender. And you're starting to see glimpses of that as well. So I'm excited about his trajectory right now.
Walk me through kind of growing up there and just, was it a dream to play in the NFL?
Yeah, it was most definitely a dream. Playing at Peoria High, having a good team, going from there to the JUCO route. So then the JUCO route was all right, it was fun, grind. Then instant at JUCO, missed the year of football, got back in, went to Western Illinois, grinded out there, ended up going undrafted COVID year. Yeah, I'm here where I am today.
What's the path been like? You talk about undrafted and changing colleges. How has that been? Has that kind of made you where you are and kind of helped you get to where you're at now?
I believe it did. I'll say it's a real grind. Like just always being like an underdog in a way. Like you always got to get everything out the mud. You can say like you got to just work for it. So it's like I say it helped me where I'm at today because every day I just got to come work, just work like it's my last day depend on it.
So you were on the practice squad last year. You kind of got a roster spot. Just tell me, how this year's been, how camp went, and just kind of being a mainstay now on the 53-man roster.
Camp was good. I think I came in a mindset just working every day and just what can I do to get better or just help this team this year. And that was just my mindset just going forward. Just what can I do to improve every day, like during camp, just get better at everything. So that was the mindset.
It's got quite a few veterans on this roster. How much do you lean on these guys? How much do you talk to these guys that have been around?
A lot. I think we talk, and I can say I've been around a lot. I maybe haven't been active, but like I even try to talk to the young guys. But talking to the older guys like David, you get a lot from David, Street, people like that. It's just good to have them around.
Is there anybody else from your area back in Peoria that's either high school or the area around Morton or just anywhere around there that's also in the league?
Yes, Kendrick. That's what you talking about?
No, just in general. I mean, anybody else from the Peoria area that's in the NFL right now?
Yeah, Kendrick. You got Kendrick and who else? Dang. Marcus. You got Marcus. That's only other two I know right now.
Tell me about your role on this defense and how do you feel like that, you feel like you fit in on this defense with the new scheme with Jeff?
I think it's a good scheme. Just getting off attack front. I think it's my first time playing in my career. I think it's good for me. Just getting off the ball, playing blocks as you going. Just it's good.
How about being in the South? I mean, you're a Midwest guy just like me, but I've been down here a long time. I'm acclimated. How do you like the South? Have you adjusted?
Yeah, I adjusted real good. Not too much snow around here, so.
Just tell me, how often do you said you got family in Peoria, how often do you get home? I mean, it's tough for them to probably see with Bears games on or anybody, other games, but how often do you get to see them? Do they get to see you play?
When I was in the XFL, that's probably the last time I was at home, but it was since I'm already in Atlanta, it's I try to get my mom out here once in a while, but going back home, it's been a minute. I'm going to try to go this offseason, but.
Do you go back and give back to the high school? Do you try to go back and give to the school?
Since this is like my first actual year, I think I will definitely this year. So.
What do you remember about those days?
It was fun. A lot of just kids, like just being kids and just having fun. Peoria is small, so like everybody know each other. So.
Any just dreams or just this is a dream, but what more would you like to accomplish in the NFL?
I say. Just playing and just making sure I give it everything I owe and have no regrets when I look back at it.
Is there anybody back home that you kind of credit with your success and where you made it to?
Yeah, I say my family and my Uncle Dan too. He played a big part, just helping me out through everything I've been through. So.
How'd you guys do in the state playoffs during your time at Peoria?
We did good. Lost Sacred Heart, but following year I believe they ended up winning, or 2 years after that. Kendrick and them. So.
Was that 5A?
Were
you 5A?
Yeah, 5A.